Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today I have another Power Rangers review for you, and this is very exciting. I just finished filming my last review of the Legacy figures that I had kind of been like holding off on because I wasn't super excited about it, but I got them over with because today we have the Lightning Collection from Hasbro. Finally, here they are, guys. We saw the White Ranger previewed at Power Morphicon. I saw it there in person, looked awesome, and then the rest of the figures I saw at New York Toy Fair. So I've been teased by these figures for so long. I've seen them up close, but I haven't been able to hold them in my hand just yet until now. Finally, here they are. And oh man, the packaging just looks beautiful. Look at that. I'm not one to save boxes because I just don't have the space for it, but man, these just look incredible. I forget the artist's name, but I know that they got this artist that has designed each of the packaging and will continue to do this line, which is just fantastic. I think that looks awesome. So let's jump right into it. These figures are, I believe, $19.99 each. So this is sort of that collector's line of Ranger figures. We've seen the 6-inch basic figures for Beast Morphers, but this is the Lightning Collection. They're actually going to do Beast Morphers Red in the next wave, so we'll do a comparison when that happens. But let's just jump right into it, right? So here we have the Lightning Collection. So there's your logo right there, and it has your season and Ranger name, Mighty Morphin White Ranger. Awesome artwork right there, and it goes over to the side with the Mighty Morphin logo there. That looks so nice. There it is on top as well. They use the same color as the Ranger for the box, so that's a nice touch as well. And yeah, so all of the Lightning Collection, and this is what I love about it. First of all, you get a Ranger figure that is not overly muscular or anything. It looks normal. The proportions are normal. It looks like a suit that he's wearing, so you can see like molded folds and creases in the suit, which is awesome. You come with extra hand pieces. They come with effects pieces, accessories. So you got Saba here, and my personal favorite piece of the Lightning Collection, civilian heads. Every single Ranger is going to come with a civilian head, and that is fantastic. There's so many different things that it comes with. I don't know how to pose them all, but I'm leaning towards having them with all their civilian heads because that just is awesome. Yeah, really, really cool. You can see kind of in the background behind the Ranger some lightning bolts, the orange ones in the back, which is kind of cool. And then the back of the box, very simple. Just showing you straight up, there's your Ranger. It is what it is. There's not much more to say, you know, right there. So, very, very cool packaging. Coming over to Dino Charge Red Ranger. So, I like the distribution of the waves too. You got your classic Tommy, right? That's going to sell. You got something from the Neo Saban era, which is also great. Great season, great Ranger, Tyler. Dino Charge was cool. Dino Supercharge, you know, but Dino Charge, yay, right? So, super cool, and I love the way that figure already looks. I'm super excited about it. Look at that artwork. That's awesome. You got your Dino Charge logo right there as well. Effects pieces. You got the Morpher and this. By the way, look at the weapons that it comes with, and what do you notice? There's a decent amount of paint. Isn't that pretty crazy? I know, it's like such a novel concept, right? And then the back of the box, like, look at how epic that looks. Like, I can actually make a pose like that. Like, that just, I am so excited to see how this all looks. So, there we have it. And then, oh man, this is awesome, guys. We have a fan favorite right here, and for good reason, the SPD Shadow Ranger. Guys, it's Doggy Kruger. Like, look, this is just, oh my gosh, it looks so shiny. I love that suit design. Fantastic looking suit. And look, you got Kruger right there, Commander Kruger. The civilian head, which like his head, like that. There's even an extra neck piece for added support, which is great. Super. Even the Morpher, they added in. So nice. Look at the packaging right there, man. SPD logo. Just beautiful. Oh, man. Look at that figure. Just so beautiful. I just want to, like, stare at the box. But I also want to get this open. So let's keep going. And then, by the way, if you're buying these figures in the wave, the one that is the hardest to get in the wave, the one that's the least stocked, is Lord Zedd right here. So if there's one figure, like if you don't have enough money to get them all right away, but they have them all in stock, I would get Zedd first because he's going to be the hardest to find later. And yeah, we have Lord Zedd. Isn't that crazy? Like, a Lord Zedd. I remember having a Lord Zedd figure from when I was a little kid, and you would push a button and he would light up and stuff. And you know, the articulation wasn't great. But man, look at the detail in this. I am so excited about this. Very, very cool. Mighty Morphin Lord Zedd. Look at that. So we can get villains in the Lightning Collection line, which is fantastic. He even comes with the little accessory, the bomb thing that like he throws and makes things grow, and just attention to detail, man. That's so nice. Very, very cool. Look at that. He just looks so menacing. I am loving the way this looks. So yeah, we have all of these figures right here. Very, very excited about them. So we're just gonna get ready, guys. This is already, I've spent almost 6 minutes pretty much just talking about the box and the figures themselves. Let's open this up, and this is gonna be a long video, so just buckle up, get ready. Here we go. So I have the Lightning Collection out of the packaging, and wow. Okay, guys, look at this. They look so good. Oh man, I'm so excited about this. Like, I literally just filmed my last video of the Legacy figures, and now to jump to the Lightning Collection, and I'm like, oh man, this is so much better. Like, first of all, okay, let's just talk visually what you notice right up front. They look like the suits from the show. They don't look like these overly muscular versions of these figures or anything. Like, they look legit. You know, like, I see this, and, like, I feel like there's a person inside of there. Like, just the proportions, the way it just, I'm just blown away at how well they captured the look of a Ranger suit. The weapons have some paint. It's not all perfect, especially the Dino Charge Morpher right there. Yeah, you know, there could have been some more paint. And Zedd's staff is kind of gray instead of silver, and it looks a little weird. You know, it's not perfect, right? It's a $20 figure. That's the thing. There are things out there where you've seen SH figure arts of some of these characters, like at least him and Dino Charge Red. But figure arts are like at least 3 times expensive, maybe 3 times as expensive. Like, they can get, you know, $60, maybe more. I don't know. So that's a whole different thing. These are playable action figures for $20, and they have civilian heads. You can't beat that. So for what you're paying, fantastic stuff. I will say one thing to keep in mind. With these figures, I've noticed a little bit with these, and I've bought Marvel Legends figures before, so it's kind of the same thing. If you're familiar with Hasbro, keep in mind that sometimes the quality control on some of the paint is slightly off a little bit in terms of, I bought duplicates of some of these. So I pre-ordered them all on Hasbro Pulse, and then 3 out of the 4, so Zedd I didn't get, but the other 3 I got on Amazon because I got even quicker shipping. So 3 of them I got quicker on Amazon than Hasbro Pulse finally shipped, and I got the rest a day later. So I got duplicates of some of these with the idea of I wanted to take some of these to work and have on my desk at work, and then leave some here in the house as well. So when I got duplicates, there's a couple slight differences. Most of these, no big deal. Like, you look at these 2 White Ranger figures, and they pretty much look the same, right? If you look real close, it's hard to tell on camera. The shade of gold is slightly different on the shield there. But the biggest thing is if you look at the helmet, they look okay for the most part, but look at this one when you zoom in right up here. It's a little hard to see. It's slightly chipped and stuff, right? Versus this helmet is totally fine, right? Slight differences. Again, you're probably looking at like, why would I care? Like, who's gonna look that up close? Some people do care, and that's why I want to mention it. But especially because one of the figures is so bad that I'm actually going to return it. So Dino Charge Red, pretty fantastic, right? Look at this Dino Charge Red that I still got in the box. Look at the main chest piece right here. Look at that. You see the scuff mark on the yellow, and there's yellow paint bleeding down in there. That's really noticeable. So if you order your figures online, be careful about what you get. Depending on how bad it is. Like if I got that other White Ranger figure, I would be okay with it. I would live with it. Because none of these figures are going to be perfect. But that, it's rare for me to return a figure. But that one is pretty bad. So keep that in mind. If you go to the store, Target, Walmart, wherever you end up picking it up, you're obviously going to have a pick of whatever's available there. So you're going to have a little bit more flexibility. So keep in mind. That being said, despite, that sort of thing, which is totally understandable, these things look fantastic. I mean, they just look amazing. So where do I begin? You know what? Let's start with the White Ranger. Let's just jump to the White Ranger. So let's move these guys out of the way for a second and focus on the White Ranger. And the first thing that I want to focus on is I want to bring in the Legacy White Ranger and do a comparison. So in order to fully understand the Lightning Collection and what it entails, we have the Legacy figure. And so a couple things that you're going to notice side by side. One being the Legacy figure is bigger, right? These are 6-inch figures, so they are going to be in different scale. I'll have to grab my Beast Morphers figures because I want to do a comparison. I thought I had them right next to me, but I guess not, so I apologize. I'll grab the Beast Morphers figures because people asked if the Lightning Collection's in line with the Beast Morphers. So we'll check that out. But you see it there. In terms of paint and detail, you look at the helmet, same amount of paint, right? You look at the shield, right? For the most part. The belt buckle, there's some extra paint right here versus there, right? The White Ranger design, there's not much more to it, but definitely looks a bit more detailed, compared to what you see there, right? You flip it over, and yeah, paint-wise, nothing too crazy, right? You look at Saba here. Pretty much the same level of detail, except I will say, pros and cons. On the Lightning Collection, there's more black paint going down the head of Saba, versus here it's all silver, except for the little bit of black there. However, the Lightning Collection does not have Saba's eyes painted, whereas here you have the red dots. So, pros and cons, right? The big difference, though, which one of these looks like an actual person? And which one looks like it could just be like some, I don't know, like some oversized robot or something that's being controlled that doesn't look like a normal human. Like, this looks like a person. And I'm not talking size-wise, but like, look at the structure of the body, the proportions, the muscular, physique that they have there versus this, right? Look at what they chose to sculpt into the suit are muscles. What they chose to sculpt into the suit are just creases and folds. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like, I can look at this and I feel like there's a person in there. Like, it legitimately somehow feels like there's a person in there. Just the way the shield wraps around the body, something about it. Like, they were able to capture the essence of a Ranger so much better. So, they are smaller figures, but I prefer better quality figures than size. Like, I could care less how big or small it is. The Lightning Collection figure, I mean, clear winner here, in my opinion. And that's not even showing all the other stuff that this thing has. So, there is an effects piece, right? So this one with the White Ranger is a little weird. I guess it's supposed to, there's a little slot in there that it can attach onto, and it just sort of does that. I don't know if it's this way or the other way. I guess it's supposed to be like, I don't know. This one's kind of weird, but you have it, so I guess it's nice, an extra effects piece. You also have a couple of different hands. So you have this open hand that holds Saba, you have the fist, then you have the alternate fist, if you wanted both to be fists, and the one that he had in the packaging was this hand, was like a karate chop hand. It's kind of odd. I don't know that I would use this, but it's there. It's an option, But the other thing that I want to then show, all right, we've seen this figure. We've seen it up close. We've seen the detail. Looks really nice, right? Like just all the paint, the detailing, just the way the suit wraps around the body here of this figure. Really, really nice. The helmet just looks slick. They just really capture the essence of the character well, right? But watch, right? You pop off the helmet here, and in comes Tommy Oliver. If I can put it on properly. Give me 1 second here. A little hard to do with a camera in front of you. And now we have Tommy Oliver. Boom. Look at that, guys. That's really, really neat. I will say this Tommy head is okay. It's all right. I think some of the other ones, like when we get to Tyler and stuff for Dino Charge Red, looks pretty fantastic. Yeah, you know, it's all right, but it serves its purpose. It's a civilian head. And like, this is just epic. Like, you can have, and one of the ways that I kind of want to pose all my figures is like, what if he's just holding his helmet like that? Like, how freaking epic is that? How freaking epic is that? Look at that, man. Like, just, I'm blown away. I am blown away at what you can do with these figures. Just amazing, amazing stuff. So, okay, let's talk. Oh, one other thing I should mention. When you take out the hands and stuff, I kind of twist them when I pull them out, because if you just pull out and then try and snap it back in, there's a chance it might bend. So you kind of have to twist them in and out. The actual hand pieces are rather long, so you don't want to just jam it in because it might bend, as you see, and break off. So they seem sturdy enough, but you just kind of like twist it in and then it pops in pretty easily. So let's take a quick look at the articulation then for this figure here. So head rotates all the way around, up and down, right? Because of the shield, it's going to be a little limited in the movement, but it can go pretty decently. And the shield is actually kind of on top of the body. It's not molded into the body. So it slightly wiggles a little bit, which gives a little bit of wiggle room. Also, this is kind of a bendy plastic too. So it's not like, it doesn't stop the arm. You can sort of stretch like that, which is pretty great. So it actually really doesn't hinder it at all. You can, move the arms up a decent amount. This whole piece rotates. Then you have double joint at the elbow. And this does not rotate, but then of course you have the hand joint, and the hands also move up and down like that. If you've gotten any Marvel Legends figures, it feels very similar to that. In fact, I'm actually going to bring in some Marvel Legends at the end of this video and do a comparison as well. You also have the upper body rotating like this, and this whole top half does twist as well, which is interesting. The legs can move apart, moves forward, back a little bit. Also, by the way, I should mention this holster is molded onto the belt, which I think is fantastic. It's also kind of a soft plastic, so it moves around, because I always hated when the things would just pop off like on the Legacy figures, but it's molded on, which is great. Also then, this whole leg piece rotates. You have a double joint at the knee right there. Then this whole boot rotates. And then the feet move up and down and also twist around as well. So pretty great articulation that you have for the figure. So I definitely think they did a really, really nice job with these. So now let's jump over to the next figure. All right, so let's take a look at Lord Zedd. We'll continue with the Mighty Morphin theme here. This figure is super cool. So I definitely dig it a lot. The effects piece I like better than the White Ranger one. It's kind of interesting. You can sort of wrap it around the Z up there. So the way that this effects piece works is it's actually one piece like that, and you can just sort of wrap it around. It sort of curls like that, and get it, however you want it to look. So kind of neat. I like that. The hands that he has, by the way, so there's a hand to hold the staff. Then there's like an open hand where the little bomb will fit inside of. But there's also another open hand for the right hand. So if you want him to hold it, in this hand instead. And then there's a fist for this side, for a left hand. So those are the extra accessories that he comes with. And of course the staff, which the staff is interesting. Look, the one disappointing thing here is that like the gray just doesn't fit with like the silver that they used here. It just looks kind of cheap, you know, like if they would have had this the same color as this, that would be much better. I had read online, and this was going back a while ago, so I don't know, I didn't personally like look into it myself to see how true or not it was. But somebody had mentioned that the bottom of the staff is supposed to curve the other way, like it's supposed to be like that, but if you flip it around, the Z is flipped. So like, that might not be accurate. That's something that I honestly would not have paid attention to, so I don't mind that as much, but just keep that in mind. If it may not be 100% show accurate, but you know, whatever. So let's move this out of the way. And then you have the little bomb thing which you can hold, which is super cool. Just an extra accessory that they didn't have to include, but they did, and it looks pretty nice. So very simple looking, but you know, there it is. I like that they included it. So, I mean, like, look at this figure itself. The thing about this figure that they captured so well is like they have all these tubes going across the figure, which other Zedd figures just don't capture it that well. It's like either molded on or they just don't have the tubes. They just kind of just go with the rest of it, you know? But like these, like they're actual little tubes that go around it, and that makes it look so much more dynamic and so cool. It just goes to show the care and detail that went into developing these figures. Like they didn't have to go to that extra length to make this Zedd figure, but they did. Like they made it top notch, and that's pretty amazing. The face also looks pretty decent. You know, there it is right there. So the brains up top. Yeah, I mean overall pretty solid, and all these figures I paint even on the back going all the way around. So the way that this stuff works too, by the way, so the tubing, technically this middle piece can come off. I don't want to, you know, force it off too much because I don't want it to loosen up, but this piece can kind of come off. You know, so if you stretch it too much, it might pull off, so just be careful of that. Also, these side pieces sort of plug out of the legs. So far, it seems like it's holding pretty solidly. Like, I'm always afraid with that kind of stuff that these things are just going to flop out, and then it just becomes annoying. So it's a little risky, you know, doing that. But so far, at least initially, they hold in pretty tight. So you have those pieces there. This piece, at least when it came in the box, was out like that as well. So again, this one you can just sort of plug in right there. So it all pegs in pretty well. It all connects pretty well. So they did a nice job with that. So in terms of articulation then, so the head does rotate all the way around and moves up and down. The arms technically would rotate all the way around, but the tubes, you know, prevent it from happening. Same with the twisting of the arms. So this does twist as well. But again, you can't twist it fully because the tubes. Double joint at the elbow as well, and then the hand, you know, has that movement. But what's also interesting is you have this joint right here, which allows for the arm to move in and out as well. And I actually didn't point it out with the White Ranger figure, but it actually is there for the White Ranger too. It's hidden under the shield, so you might not realize it at first, but as you're kind of posing things, that actually is really nice. Adds some added flexibility there, which is pretty nice. Then you have the entire upper body piece, which technically, again, would rotate all the way around, but you don't want to pull on the tubes, but it allows for lots of movement there. And then also, right here, there's some movement as well. So good range of motion there. The legs also, you know, good range of motion. They can split apart, kick forward, back a little bit. They potentially can twist. Actually, they don't twist here, or do they? Kind of. It sort of can. It's a little bit different because, so just like the other Legacy figures where the leg can turn, except here you have this silver piece that goes all the way across, and so that sort of allows, it allows you to rotate it a decent amount, but again, the tubes sort of prevent movement there. Double joint at the knee, and then the feet have your pretty, you know, standard bit of articulation as well. So good range of motion for the figure. The only thing you're really hindered by is the tubes, but really for most of the stuff that you would want to do, you know, he can do it, you know, however you want to pose him. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I definitely like the figure, and I think it turned out really well. Yeah. So this one's going to be the harder one to find in the wave. It's short packed, so definitely pick it up if you can. So there is Lord Zedd. So with that being said, let's do our Dino Charge Red Ranger now. All right, look at this. And oh wait, where'd his blaster? So there you have it. So I mean, man, look at this. It looks pretty amazing. It really does. Like when you add the full picture of everything, really, really nice. I especially like the effect piece on this one. I think this works really well for the effect that it gives. You know, really, really cool. The one thing I will say, look, the paint on these weapons and figures is pretty decent. The blaster here, and I'm forgetting the name of. I know this was the Morpher, the Dino Charge Morpher. Was it just called the Dino Charge Morpher, or was there a name for it? I don't remember. It's been a while, but the paint on this is a little disappointing. Like on this side, it's serviceable, right? It's serviceable. You got the black stripes right there. It's serviceable. Flip it over though, and this just looks a little bare bones. Like add some stripes or something. Just one extra little thing. One little thing. I'm not asking for full detail or even more colors. Just like mirror this onto the other side. You know what I mean? Like that's just like the one extra little thing that I feel like would be nice. Because look, I hold it like this, and it looks okay, right? But if I try and pose it like this, it starts to look a little odd, you know? That's the one thing that, and again, this is all companies do this, so this is not just Hasbro, but the back of the box shows something that's got a little bit more paint than it actually does. So on that side, keep that in mind. But it also, like, look at the red on there and that, like, it's not 100% accurate to what you're getting. All companies do that, so, you know, keep that in mind. But, you know, still better than what we've gotten in the past. But just keep that in mind. So there's that. Then, as far as the actual, this weapon here, so again, you have the effects piece that just comes right off. So you can just sort of slide the sword in through, you know, whatever pieces you want. But here it is. And this is also pretty decent. You know, you have the blade, the silver right there, and the rest is black. So again, much better than what we've seen in the past. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And what else do we have? Oh, so the hands, right? So the two hands that I left in right now, this one is supposed to be the blaster hand. I will say it's a little difficult to fit in sometimes because I think the bottom two fingers are fine, but like only really one finger is going to fit into where the trigger hole is. But instead you have two fingers, so it doesn't quite attach on properly. So that's a little odd. And then you have this hand, which I guess, you know what? I will say maybe it's the other way around, because this one, you have the one finger. Yeah, there you go. So the box showed it the opposite way, which is why I did it. But now that I'm trying this out, you see how the finger fits in perfectly here. So I would imagine this, well, no, it's not a good fit for this for this hand. And the other hands aren't going to hold this either. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with this hand. I think they could have just mirrored the two, and then it would probably work better in either situation. But the other hands that it comes with are a fist that you have. So there's a fist for the right hand. And then there's a karate chopping hand on this side. So there you have it. Okay. And it's a little hard to mix. You can't really mix and match some of these hands because like this has the silver on it versus like if I take the White Ranger one, like it's just plain, you know? So because a lot of the Ranger suits have different gloves and stuff too, you can't really just swap them out like that. But what I can do is swap out the head. So let's pop this off and plug in the Tyler head here. Brennan Mejia. Speaking of which, I need to challenge Brennan Mejia again to some Smash Brothers. I've played him in Pokemon, he destroyed me. Played him in Smash Brothers, he destroyed me. This is on the 3DS, so Brennan, if you're watching this, it's challenge time. It's on. But yeah, I mean that looks really good. That looks you know, much closer to Brennan. Really, really cool. I mean, that's just, you know, imagine. I know Brennan Mejia was so excited when he saw the figure, but like to have a figure like that, like that's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like the fact that that actually exists. And like I was saying, to have something where you can even sort of like pseudo hold the helmet like that, that's so cool. So cool. Hasbro, thank you for including civilian heads. Thank you for that. Very, very nice. So detail-wise then, so I guess I should put these up close here. So the helmet looks pretty good. Definitely looks really nice. So does the face. But overall, again, like the whole suit design looks pretty good. This shoulder piece, by the way, is solid and attached here. It doesn't bend or anything, which is okay. But you know, keep that in mind. There's the belt buckle. And here's the other nice part, right? Like the yellow, it goes all the way around. They didn't just leave it blank there, like they fully painted it all the way around, which is really nice. So, yeah. Really cool. So, in terms of articulation, the head, you know, does rotate all the way around, moves up and down. The arms rotate all the way around, and they move up a decent amount. Some of the joints are always a little tight at first, so it might take a little bit of pushing around. I'm not going to mess with it too much, but this should go up about, you know, that much. Come on. Yeah, all right. You also do have that same little joint that moves in and out on the sides as well. So as you can see, so you have that motion. You have the arm that rotates around like that. You have the double joint at the elbow. And then the hand, of course, rotating and going in and out. The whole upper body rotates around, moves up and down. So full range of motion there. And then you also do have a little bit of movement there as well. Splits apart, legs move forward a decent amount, back, kind of. Tilt the leg around, double joint right there. The whole boot rotates, and then also the feet. So, yeah, pretty standard range of motion, especially similar to the Marvel Legends figures that Hasbro does. But yeah, I think this certainly does looks pretty great. So there you have it. There's Dino Charge Red. So that brings us, last but not least, to the SPD Shadow Ranger. And you know what? I gotta say, I think out of this first wave, this one might be my favorite. It really might be my favorite. They did a phenomenal job with this figure. First of all, look at that shiny paint. Like, you guys know how much I love shiny stuff. Like, and blue is my favorite color. Like that's such a slick, like metallic-y looking blue color. Looks really nice on this figure. Nice solid red that they use there, and just again the way that all the creases and folds on the figure go make it look so lifelike. You know, like this is just, man, like look at that. They just did such a nice job at molding this thing. I'm just so impressed. Like, it's not super overly muscular or anything. Like, it straight up looks out of the show. I was just talking to my wife about some of these figures, and I was excited about these, and I showed her some clips of the Shadow Ranger that I just watched, and I mean, like, this looks straight out of the show. Like, amazing. Nice shiny paints and everything. So, in terms of the accessory, right? So you got this effects piece right here, which is kind of cool. I think it definitely looks really nice. Just wraps around the sword like that, adds a cool little energy effect. So I like that. So very simple, very, very easy, but effective. Then here's his weapon right here. Was this called the Shadow Saber? I honestly couldn't remember, but I just watched the clip, so that's why it sounds familiar. I think it's Shadow something, so it must be Shadow Saber, or I don't know. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty decent for what it is. A little bit of red right there, you know? Yeah, pretty solid. So there it is. As far as accessories, so he's got this hand right here that's got like the finger pointing, right? And then you have this hand, which is like the grabby hand. So he comes with a fist for the left hand, or this hand right here where he's got like the two fingers pointed forward for the right hand. And I think this one, I'm trying to think of which one is best for the other accessory here, which is the Morpher. Which, for a tiny little thing, look at the paint on that, right? It's kind of hard to tell too, but they even put little red dots next to some of the words there. I don't know, are those actually words? They can't be. Okay, I don't think it is. It's just paint, but it looks legit in SPD, of course. The one thing that is apparently off that people have been saying, and now that I look at it, I see what they're talking about. So on this side, you have the little piece that, if you remember the Morpher, it slides up and down a little bit. That's supposed to be on this side, I think. I guess now that I look at it, I do realize that, but I don't know, it doesn't bug me too much because it's so small, but I can understand why some people would be a little bit annoyed with it, especially if you want to pose your figure like that and it's not fully accurate, right? Yeah, so let's see. Which hand would be best? I guess it would be this hand, probably. Or, I don't know. I don't know which hand would be best for him to pose the Morpher with the Morpher. Maybe, I feel like, would it be this? Kind of? Sort of? I don't know, but you have that option at least. So there's that. But yeah, pretty solid overall. So the one other thing then is, of course, the head. And so this also, by the way, let's just show up close. Looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, like look at the texture, just the design look. Man, they really capture the look of Commander Kruger really, really well. And here's the cool thing about it, right? Because normally you have the head and it just attaches on, right? And, you know, it looks okay, right? But the fact that you have this black neck right there where this is supposed to be like this dog humanoid thing that, like, you know, looks a little bit odd because that's supposed to be where his neck is. They added in a neck piece. They didn't have to do that, but they did, which is so fantastic. Now, I don't know exactly how it's supposed to go. If it's supposed to go like this way down or this way, you know, I guess it could go either way. I'm just going to do it like this, but it slides down and sort of sits in like that. And then you can take the head and pop it in. And now look, now it looks much more like an actual neck. Like, that just, they didn't have to do that, right? Like, so nicely done. Truly appreciated how they did that. Maybe let's try the other way. I just want to, I've tried it both ways before, and I'm still not quite sure what the best option is. This way, I don't know. This doesn't seem to fit as well, but you know, whatever. The point is they added in something like that, which is truly appreciated. So that's pretty nice. So I'm just gonna flip it and use it that way. I mean, come on. Like, come on. You look at that and just, how does that not get you excited about this? Like, if you're not rushing out to your local store to try and find this figure right now, like, what are you doing? Stop watching this video. Go buy this figure. Like, That's freaking awesome. I'm sorry. That just, wow. I'm blown away. Like, I always thought the Shadow Ranger was cool, right? But, like, this figure alone, honestly, is making me love this suit and character even more. Like, they just captured the essence of him so well. It just looks so badass. Like, it just looks, that just, I am in love with this figure. It just looks amazing. And I'm so glad that I bought a second one for my desk at work. So, yes. Fantastic. Amazing, amazing stuff. I cannot say it enough. It's just so good. And then, like, again, like, you can have the helmet. Like, this is just so cool. I gotta figure out, you know, I'm just kind of doing a rough thing like this to have him kind of hold the helmet, but look at that. That's just incredible, incredible. Also, I should say, because I don't think this applies, I guess it technically applies to Tommy, and I didn't really show it, but a lot of these have the holsters that you can put the weapon in, which again is fantastic. I love the fact that it's attached permanently so it doesn't just fall off. Just all the little things that bugged me before, they're really fixing, and that's just awesome. So, really, really nice figure, just awesome. You got the SPD logo there, nice detail all around. Yeah, what more can I say, right? So let's take a look at the articulation then. So rotates all the way around, same kind of articulation that you're used to. Rotates around, also moves in and out as well. So this little chest piece kind of hides it a little, but that is that joint that the other figures have too. The arms move up about that much. You got some rotation there, double joint, and then the hand, of course, got some movement there. Then this whole chest piece rotates around, moves up and down as well, even moves side to side, which is really cool. You do have a little bit of movement there as well. Good range of motion on the legs. They move forward, back kind of off to the side a little bit. Does rotate around. You do have a double joint right there. It's kind of hidden by this little piece, which again is what makes it look so much more like lifelike, because you don't really see the joints as much. And then so this whole boot technically does rotate around. So you see it does rotate. This whole piece actually is not permanently attached, which is kind of nice because it's pretty solid, but it allows for a little bit of wiggle room in terms of your posing. But the feet do move up and down, side to side, you know, whatever you would need there. So good range of motion, and yeah, that's your Shadow Ranger figure. So pretty fantastic. That about wraps it up. I know this is a long video, but I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. Oh, actually, no, I did not cover everything. I apologize, because I promised a couple things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab a Beast Morphers figure for comparison, and also some Marvel Legends for comparison as well. So let me go do that. All right, so here they are. Also, one thing that you'll notice is some of the heights are slightly varying a little bit, which makes sense because not every character is going to be the exact same height, right? So that's certainly pretty nice. So I grabbed kind of a standard Marvel Legends figure that I had, which was Captain America. And so Captain America, very similar scale to the other figures, you know. As far as what you can see height-wise, very much the same, taller or shorter than others, depending on the characters. So, again, if you are a Marvel fan, you have those figures, it scales really nicely with them. Articulation and everything on these figures is going to be very, very similar too, which is very nice. Here's the Spider-Man figure, just for comparison as well, since he is a shorter character, a younger character. Makes sense, and again, fits in perfectly. So you can have a whole Avengers and Power Rangers crossover or something, you know, like, that's so fantastic. And I don't have really many of these. I might only have one, maybe, but the Black Series Star Wars figures, so potentially even Star Wars could cross over here, which is also pretty crazy. So lots of possibility. And, you know, let's just throw in Thanos, because why not, right? He's huge. So what if we get giant figures for Power Rangers, depending on the characters? Maybe we have Megazords in that scale. Who knows? But pretty cool, again, to have all these figures side by side. So that also brings the question of the Beast Morphers regular figures here. Here they are. It is, again, because the characters are varying heights, it's hard to tell how much it fits, but in general, it seems to be a bit shorter than all the figures. Even Tyler, who seems to be the shortest, it's still a little bit shorter than those figures. Does it look super odd with these? I mean, it looks okay with them. I don't know. It'll be very interesting because Wave 2 is going to have Beast Morphers Red in the Lightning Collection. That's where I can truly compare them side by side. You know what I mean? But again, I think these figures have their place too. These are half the price, right? $10. They have pretty decent articulation and paint for what they are. I know some people miss like some of the hand rotation or some of the movements there that we've had with the Bandai figures, but we also have better looking figures that are not overly muscular, some slight paint on the weapons too, which is nice, right? So there's some trade-offs that I think overall I like these figures better that Hasbro's been doing than compared to Bandai. And then you have double the price, the more collector versions of these with the extra accessories, the civilian heads and all that. So you get what you pay for, and you know, here you get a pretty solid figure for $10, or you have an amazing figure for $20. So fantastic stuff here. I'm very, very excited for the future of the Lightning Collection. There's just some really, really cool stuff here. So let me know in the comment section below what you thought as well, and if you picked up any of these figures. If not, why not? Like, go get them. They're so cool. So definitely check that out. Stay tuned for lots more reviews on the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you later.